In 2022, the world was stunned when Naomi Judd, one half of the legendary duo the Judds, passed away under shocking circumstances. But what if the headlines only told part of the story? Behind closed doors, Naomi carried secrets that few knew about. A private farewell letter, a haunting family history, and chilling details about her final days. More than a country music icon, Naomi was a survivor, a mother, and a woman who hid deep scars behind her powerful voice. Alongside her daughter Winona, their music touched millions, telling a story of love, resilience, and second chances. But beneath the fame was a storm Naomi kept hidden. Her death raised many questions. How could someone on the brink of a Hall of Fame induction be silently struggling? What signs were missed? Before her final moments, Naomi's journey began in small-town Kentucky. A single mother with big dreams, no degree, and a fierce determination. She worked multiple jobs just to raise her daughters, while music became her escape. With Winona's powerful voice, they formed the Judds, quickly rising to fame in the 1980s with 14 #1 hits and 5 Grammys. This is the story behind the legend, the struggles, the triumphs, and the heartbreak Naomi endured. They didn't just become stars. The Judds became legends. Hits like Mama, He's Crazy, and Love Can Build a Bridge didn't just top charts. They played on repeat in millions of homes across America. You might wonder where Ashley was during their rise. She grew up away from the spotlight, living a relatively normal life. Naomi wasn't just a mother under the spotlight. She was a trailblazer for women in country music. Bold and magnetic, she commanded every interview and concert with her presence. But boldness can sometimes mask deeper struggles. In 1991, at the peak of her fame, Naomi shocked fans by announcing her retirement. She had been diagnosed with hepatitis C, a serious blood-borne illness contracted during her nursing days. This diagnosis ended the Judds' career as a duo. Winona launched her solo career immediately, achieving huge success with her debut album topping the country charts and going multi-platinum. They reunited for tours and TV appearances, but behind the scenes, Naomi was changing. While the stage lights still shone bright, a darker battle was quietly taking hold. Naomi's personal struggles began quietly in the late 1990s and early 2000s. What fans didn't see was that her hardest fight wasn't hepatitis C, it was with her own mind. It started with anxiety and panic attacks, then severe depression that made even getting out of bed feel impossible. What she first thought was exhaustion was actually treatment-resistant depression. When Naomi finally spoke about it, the truth shocked everyone. She battled severe depression, anxiety, panic disorder, and bipolar disorder. These weren't mild struggles. Her mental illness gripped her tightly, often resisting treatment. In her 2016 memoir, River of Time, she revealed the darkness she faced. Weeks at home, unable to leave the bedroom, smiling for cameras but breaking down afterward. She tried medications, therapy, and even psychiatric hospitals, seeking relief from relentless tormenting thoughts. Decades of pain, public pressure, unresolved childhood trauma, and the weight of being Naomi Judd took their toll. She withdrew from the world, even distancing herself from Winona and Ashley. Despite their close public image, behind the scenes, misunderstandings and hurt grew. One painful issue was Ashley feeling left out, calling herself the Forgotten Judd. Ashley openly shared her experience growing up in a chaotic, unstable environment, moving between relatives, boarding schools, and facing emotional neglect. Unlike the rest of the family, she led a more ordinary life, attending the University of Kentucky where she studied French, anthropology, and women's studies before moving to Los Angeles to pursue acting. She found fulfillment carving out her own identity, separate from the Judds' country music fame. While Naomi and Winona toured the country and collected Grammys, Ashley watched from a distance, grappling with family fame's aftershocks and finding her own path to healing, detailed in her memoir, All That Is Bitter and Sweet. Despite their public closeness, family struggles and Naomi's battles left Ashley feeling alone, fueling a cycle of loneliness. Physically, Naomi's health remained fragile. Though in remission from hepatitis C, chronic pain, fatigue, and brain fog lingered. intensifying her inner turmoil. She described depression as living in a dark tunnel with no end in sight. Naomi tried every treatment, from clinical to alternative, and kept a journal of her journey. There were good weeks, even months, but the shadow of depression always returned. She repeated a painful cycle: crash, recover, rebuild. As a celebrated country icon, there was little room for vulnerability. Naomi wore a smile even when hurting, sang through heartache, and wrestled silently with the desire to stop fighting. For years, she kept going, until she couldn't anymore. On April 30th, 2022, just a day before the Judds were to be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, Naomi's long battle ended. The honor should have been a joyous moment, but it couldn't heal her brokenness. At her secluded home in Leipers Fork, Tennessee, Naomi found the peace she sought, but also too much time alone with her darkest thoughts. Ashley visited that morning, noticing her mother was unusually quiet, withdrawn, and uncomfortable in her own skin. Naomi paced the kitchen, saying she didn't want to be here anymore. Eventually, she spoke candidly with Ashley about her reasons for fighting to stay alive, and reassured her, "You don't have to worry about me, Mom." Naomi quietly asked Ashley, "Will you stay with me?" Ashley stayed close, and they talked briefly before Naomi went upstairs to her bedroom. Moments later, Ashley stepped away to answer a knock. A family friend had arrived. When she returned, she found Naomi in distress. Ashley rushed to her mother's side, trembling as she called for help. Naomi was barely responsive. For nearly 30 minutes, Ashley comforted her, speaking softly and telling her it was okay and how much she loved her. The trauma of that moment stayed with Ashley, who has openly shared, "I was the one who found her. I have both grief and trauma." Despite emergency help arriving quickly, Naomi Judd passed away that day at 76. A handwritten farewell letter was found nearby, its contents consistent with years of deep, unrelenting pain. Behind Naomi's bright smile and fiery red hair was a woman battling darkness invisible to the world. An autopsy and toxicology report revealed prescription medications for PTSD and bipolar disorder in her system. This wasn't new to her family. They had stood by her through it all: doctor visits, therapy, hospital stays. To the public, this was a painful revelation, but Naomi herself had spoken openly about mental illness and fought hard to survive. The days following her death left fans confused. How could someone so successful, so celebrated, and about to be honored be in such agony? But those close to her understood it was decades of struggle, not just a single moment. Ashley spoke out, not for headlines, but to raise awareness about mental illness, trauma, and the compassion needed for those suffering silently. Just one day after Naomi's passing, Winona and Ashley attended the Country Music Hall of Fame ceremony as planned. Naomi was posthumously inducted with Winona as the Judds, one of country music's greatest duos. On stage, dressed in black and with shaky but steady voices, Ashley announced, "Today we sisters experienced a tragedy. We lost our beautiful mother to the disease of mental illness." Tearful but composed, Winona added, "Though my heart is broken, I will continue to sing." They promised to carry on Naomi's legacy through music, closing with Psalm 23 in a moment full of grace and emotion. The timing cut deepest. Naomi endured decades of fame and battles with depression, and the day before her Hall of Fame induction, she quietly passed. Afterward, Winona and Ashley became vocal advocates for mental health, sharing their experiences and encouraging others to seek help. But the family faced another challenge when private, grief-filled moments were recorded by police and became public record. Ashley described this as a painful violation, prompting the family to seek legal protection. Though public records laws complicated the effort, additional painful details surfaced, including Naomi's wish for Winona not to attend her funeral, leaving family and fans heartbroken. Larry Strickland, Naomi's husband, spoke tearfully about her distant final days, never expecting such a tragic end. Ashley and Winona grieved differently, Ashley through advocacy, Winona through music, both honoring their mother's legacy. Naomi Judd was human, flawed, strong, and influential. Beyond her music, she broke barriers for women in country and bravely spoke about her mental health struggles, creating space for others to do the same. Since her passing, Winona continues to tour in her mother's honor, and Ashley champions mental health awareness. Tributes from Reba McEntire, Dolly Parton, and others highlight Naomi's enduring impact. Though her story is heartbreaking, Naomi's light lives on, in her music and in those inspired to share their own truths because she spoke hers first. Which Naomi Judd song means the most to you? Share below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more.